We've got a bit of momentum this morning. Market has started off pretty excited and it looks like we're seeing a bit of dollar weakness. Now, I do expect to see dollar come back to 98. If you haven't checked out the weekly analysis, make sure you go and do so. But we were discussing last weekend and on the Friday stream as well, I was still looking for a push back to 98. That's still the expectation for the dollar. We had a bit of a rally Thursday, Friday. That's the start of the week, sorry. We had a bit of a rally at the start of the week of last week, which made things look a little bit bullish. But for the most part, overall, the market was still very much in a bearish trend. We still had major lower lows and lower highs in our favor. We did take out this high, but it was nothing really significant, which would alter my directional bias for the DXY. So I remained pretty bearish, and of course we came back to respect some nice structure there as well. And we've seen some downside from that. Price, of course, is now trading into support. I do think price is likely to break this level, and I do expect price to end up back at 98 there. So in terms of finding opportunities here for the dollar, that's where things get a bit tricky, because ideally we already want to be in the setup, not entering at these prices here, especially coming into support. But if you can scale intraday, there might be some break and retest opportunities at the lows. If we can clear support there, of course, there might be an opportunity that does resemble something like this for a pullback and a continuation. Of course, a lot needs to happen before we do get that setup. That's the direction I would expect price to push towards. And there is a possibility we might see another bigger pullback, similar to that pullback we had here. Then the continuation might see another one of those. So I'd keep an eye on that. But I would have to drop to like the 50-minute chart, 30-minute chart to start to find some good opportunities now for the dollar for shorts, because we're coming into major support. The lows here not too far away as well, so there's not a lot of room to work with. But in terms of direction, I would say the market's looking pretty bearish right now. Momentum is with the bears. Of course, we've opened up pretty bearish, but the key thing was still putting major lower highs in. And if we can break through support here, which I believe is the likely outcome, we should be pushing back to 98. So that would mean there's a good chance of seeing a lot of weakness with the USD this week. So if we take that into consideration looking at Euro, well, that should mean a bullish Euro USD this week. It's pretty much a similar pattern in terms of we had a bigger pullback than expected last week. Price is now ripped to the upside. It looks like it's just about clearing highs there as well. We do have the kind of swing high there at 1.156, which is where I do think Euro is likely to head towards. Of course, at the moment, Euro trading in some resistance. So again, ideally not the best time or location to be buying Euro, but I do expect us to clear this. So an opportunity could be if we see a clean, clear breakout of this level, pullbacks on an intraday time frame, and then looking to ride that momentum back into resistance, could be a worthy play to look at for Euro this week, especially with the momentum we're seeing already. So at the moment, Euro is looking a lot better coming into the week. I did have a bullish bias, but I did say I want this high to be clear to really show to me that, okay, the buyers are in control. Otherwise, we might have stayed a bit flat and even potentially rolled over. But now that we've got that move right at the start of the week, pretty much sets the tone for the remainder of the week. Unless something drastically changes, I only would want to be looking to buy Euro. So yeah, waiting for kind of a clear-cut break of that level. Then that should open up the door to some pullbacks, a retest, and a continuation. That could even look good on the hourly chart. And targets, of course, targets could be up to you, but I probably would be looking at trying to take some profit off of the highs there. So yeah, Euro looking very bullish. Looks like another higher low has just been printed. And the plan would be looking for a break and retest just to continue that momentum back to highs. Pound USD, last time I checked, was looking pretty bullish as well. Yeah, very strong close. Unfortunately, did not get that double bottom this week. That's kind of what I was hoping for pound coming into the week there. We had the first test last week, and we had a slow kind of descend. So I was looking to see if price could potentially double bottom there before continue. All I wanted to see price do this week was just remain above that 1.34 level, which if I take this level here across, of course, not last week, but the week before, we had a very strong breakout of that resistance level which basically set the tone for pound. You know, we got a clear-cut bullish trend there. It was a bit of a question whether price is going to break the level and continue or respect the level and reverse. But of course, we found the answer to that question again a couple of weeks ago with that strong breakout. So the plan since then has just been waiting for price to pull back, find support again, and continue this uptrend. I did want to see price break back below this, because then that would turn this to a big fake out, and I probably would be bearish at that point. But no, price respected support very well. So I was looking to see if we can get something like this week, retest, and then the buy. Excuse me. And then of course trade it back to the swing high there, 1.358. So yeah, I'm not too sure if we'll see that double bottom anymore. Again, I think on the lower time frame, there might be an opportunity should price pull back for pound. We've left behind a very solid level of resistance, which price respected on quite a few occasions. If we were to see some type of pullback, I think this is still a worthy level to be looking to buy from. Might have missed out on the double bottom there, but another opportunity looks to have risen there. So I would keep an eye on 1.35. Nice level for a retest, probably a bit more like an hourly 30-minute opportunity. And again, a swing back to the high there. That could be a nice trade for a couple of days. So, and of course, we can go a lot further too. The trend is still very much up on the higher time frames. Who knows? We could see price rally quite far. So I like pound USD. Higher time frames are bullish. Lower time frames are bullish. Seeing some momentum coming to the market. USD is looking weak as well. So everything really does point to the upside here for pound. So I would only be looking to buy that one as well. Dollar CAD, this one, of course, looking bearish as well. And I'm not too sure if I'm getting the pullback. I mean, price has already plucked the lows here. So it's not really an optimal place for me looking to short the market anyway. As a whole, I'm very bearish on dollar CAD. I do think there's a good chance price makes a move back into this area of demand. Very nice kind of double bottom consolidation there, and price ripped to the upside with a lot of momentum. And since we've been on our way back down, I've been looking for price to come back and retest that area, and I do expect to see that happen pretty soon. So coming into the week, I was hoping we could pull back. I think we're trading around here maybe. So I was hoping we could pull back. I was basically looking for a double top last week, but we had that CAD strength that just came into the market on Friday, I believe, which caused all the CAD pairs to kind of slide and have a big dump there. So I kind of missed the opportunity for that double top there as well. But dollar CAD very bearish. CAD is looking pretty strong as well. USD is very weak, so of course we're getting a bit of a landslide here. But in terms of direction for dollar CAD, I think there's still a bit more downside. I'm basically looking at 1.36, and potentially from there we might start to find support again and maybe see some upside. There might be some buying opportunities, but I think we'll wait for price to get there, wait for us to kind of develop first before we do start talking about buys. For now, hopefully something like this could happen, and then another short potentially retesting this area. That would be nice. But I'm asking a lot there from dollar CAD, but that's the only kind of real high quality setup I can see for dollar CAD. Otherwise, we're probably just going to fall over there. In terms of Aussie dollar, this one's pushing up pretty strong. Looks like that ascending channel is still giving life to Aussie dollar somehow. Yeah, I'm not really looking to trade within this channel. Just very, very noisy, very choppy conditions, not seeing clarity in the market. I am very bullish on Aussie dollar, but I've been looking for us to push down first before buying, and I'm not too sure if we're going to get that down move. I've been looking for price to push into this kind of area here, 0.625 area, some nice support previously, looking for it to act as support again, but at this rate does not look likely that price is going to end up there. So again, if USD weakness is going to come into the market, there's a good chance that Aussie dollar probably does rally back to highs. Would I look to try and trade this? No. I can understand possibly people looking for the breaking me test there, but just the conditions do put me off this trade. So personally, I would stay away. If I had to trade Aussie dollar, I'd probably be trying to look to catch a low and a bounce off the trend line here, because that's the best place for a stop loss as well. Trying to trade inside of this is just going to be very, very difficult. So yeah, Aussie dollar would be bullish on this one. at this rate, probably can get a swing back to the high. Not really seeing an opportunity to trade, unfortunately, unless maybe we do push back to the low end of the channel. But even that is something I'm not really interested in. But that's the move I'm expecting Aussie dollar to go through. Ends the USD, something I'm interested a little bit more, just because we've got this solid resistance above us. And if you can see a sharp breakout of this level, then that is definitely a level which I wouldn't mind to try and catch a retest of. It's proven to me to be a very sturdy level of resistance once, twice, and a third time. Maybe a fourth, we'll have to wait and see. But at least 3 so far. So if price was to go and clear that, I know there's a good chance we could bounce from that level, use that as support, and potentially continue. The market has been pretty consistent with higher lows now. So I wonder if we're getting ready for that breakout, and possibly something like that could look good for a retest. I was looking for price to have one more drive lower, back into the low here, and then catch the buy. But yeah, with the USD weakness, I think it's difficult to see price come back there again. Something like this looks a little bit more likely. But again, in terms of the USD, still very bullish as a whole. I do think price is from a bit of a bottom now, and we're kind of just trending to the upside. So maybe even takes us back to the highs up there. There is room for us to trade into. But first things first, just waiting for a setup to kind of materialize, and that's the best I can see so far. So being patient with the USD, but definitely bullish on this pair. In terms of gold, it looks like really that weakness in USD has kind of set the tone a little bit for the USD pairs, because gold seeing a big strong move to the upside, again inversely correlated to the dollar. So as we're seeing weakness with USD, that will of course help gold to push higher. Of course, the relationship between DXY and gold has kind of been a little bit hit and miss. And sometimes it comes into fashion, sometimes it's the exact opposite. But there is a clear relationship at the moment with USD being weak and gold being strong. We are still coming into major resistance, so I would watch out for that. But we have broke out the channel, so that is a key confluence, which does make me pretty bullish on gold. Because I've been saying with gold, this channel here is going to play a big role in terms of my bias. If price respects the up end of the channel, I'm bearish. If price, of course, breaks through, I'm bullish. And we came into the channel last week. Price respected it relatively well. We did see a bit of downside, but we never really sold off. Price was always a little bit corrective. We tried to push down, but we saw strong momentum come back into the market on Thursday. So that kind of made me a little bit neutral. And now that we've seen price kind of strongly break to the upside, that is really showing me that the buyers are back in control. So what I really want to see with gold now is a strong break of that resistance. That would really tell me that, okay, the buyers are in control, and the likelihood is that we do probably push back into the highs here at 3,500 and probably beyond at that point as well. So gold, I would be pretty bullish, and especially if you can clear resistance, that does give us an opportunity on a break and retest there on like an hourly chart to try and take advantage of that as well. So I would keep an eye on that. But yeah, in terms of direction, gold definitely leaning towards the bullish side of things with that close this morning. If we can go and break 33.63, that just cements the bias in there, me being bullish. Then yeah, break and retest hopefully to trade it back into the highs. But I like the price action of gold. Pretty straightforward in terms of direction. Of course, if we zoom out, the overall trend is still very much to the upside. So there's nothing complicated about the direction of the overall trend. And now it just looks like we're just seeing a continuation of that. So onwards and upwards for gold at this point. In terms of silver, I think silver is going to join the party as well. I'm very bullish on silver longer term, but in terms of the setup, that's where I kind of struggle right now with silver, because it just doesn't look as clear as gold. I can understand that we're coming to some resistance and possibly a strong break of that, and a retest might provide a nice opportunity. I think that's the best I've got right now for silver. The only reason why I'm a little bit more apprehensive with that opportunity is just because of where we're trading. And this is a massive area of supply, which gave us a very big drop. So really, I don't really want to be trying to take buys here. It's just not the best zone for it. But I do expect us to break higher. And if price can show evidence of a strong retest, I still think that's a decent setup. It's just not in the best place possible for a buy. But yeah, I do think silver will eventually push back to 35 there and go see some new highs pretty shortly afterwards. But yeah, still very bullish. Just don't like the setup of silver that much. I think gold looks a little bit better. So I think a nice intraday setup could form quite well on gold. But overall, I do think they're both likely to push higher.